On the witness stand, what a woman who was in the garage where a Saskatoon woman was killed testified to. Saskatoon's affordable housing strategy in the spotlight at City Hall. What advocates and residents say about the plan to put a roof over people's heads. And eyeing up AI options for Saskatoon.
This is CTV News with Chantel Saunders.
Good evening. We begin tonight at the trial of a man accused in the death of a Saskatoon woman. Today, a Crown witness testified she couldn't remember her role in the killing. CTV's Laura Woodward has the latest from Court of King's Bench.
A Saskatoon woman who was in the same garage where Megan Gallagher was killed took the witness stand in Roderick Sutherland's trial. 30-year-old Gallagher was killed inside Sutherland's garage on September 20th, 2020. He's pleaded not guilty to manslaughter, unlawful confinement, and offering an indignity to human remains. Cheyenne Petatus testified she was high and drunk the day Gallagher was killed. On the stand, she was vague and tight-lipped, often repeating that she couldn't remember details about what happened. Jurors later saw a different side in her recorded police interview. She told an investigator that Gallagher was zip-tied to an office chair and beaten inside the garage. In January, Petatus pleaded guilty to manslaughter. The Crown asked why she pleaded guilty. She responded, saying she doesn't remember. Laurel Woodward, CTV News, Saskatoon.
There was a sharp divide today between the Crown and defense over the fate of a former Christian school director found guilty of 9 counts of assault with a weapon. The Crown wants him to be sentenced to jail time, while the defense is requesting a conditional discharge, which would mean no criminal record if conditions are met. CTV's Stacey Hine reports the final decision now rests with the judge.
In July, a judge found 65-year-old John Olibaboken guilty of 9 counts of assault with a weapon. Court heard the incidents happened while he was a director at Christian Center Academy from 2003 to 2007. The school has since changed names twice, first to Legacy Christian Academy and recently to Valor Academy. During the trial, 9 former students testified that Olibaboken hit them with a wooden paddle. At his sentencing hearing, 5 victim impact statements were read in court, many detailing long-lasting emotional damage.
Because we were children and there was that power imbalance, there was never an opportunity for us to speak. So being able to give our victim impact statements, redacted as they were, was still powerful in, he was forced to listen to us in that moment.
The Crown is seeking 2 years less a day behind bars, followed by 3 years of probation. It's also recommending anger management and personal counseling as part of the conditions. Defense lawyer Ron Piche argues a jail sentence would be excessive, saying Olibaboken has no prior criminal record and has received several letters of support. He's asking for a conditional discharge, which, if granted, would mean Olibaboken avoids a criminal record if he meets court-ordered conditions.
He can tell anybody he has no criminal record, can apply for a passport, can apply for jobs. He's from Nigeria. He'd like to travel back home. So there's a lot at stake here.
Judge Lisa Watson has reserved her decision until November 20th. Stacey Hine, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Jeff, another lovely fall-like day out there today.
Very nice. Temperatures above seasonal, and it looks like those kind of temperatures will, for the most part, stay in place until Saturday, and then, well, a change is a-coming. We've got ourselves some pretty quiet conditions, at least in terms of active weather goes for the next number of days across most of the prairie provinces. Different situation for British Columbia, but generally speaking, Alberta, Saskatchewan, and Manitoba are looking fairly stable, and temperatures are going to be on the warm side of seasonal. We'll talk about those numbers later on.
Saskatoon's new housing strategy was unveiled in council chambers today. As Keenan Sorokon explains, those in support see affordable housing as an important place the city can make an impact.
The housing strategy before you is one important piece of a much larger puzzle.
The city's new affordable housing strategy, comprised of available data, hours of research, and nearly 100 interviews, is meant to chart a new path for housing affordability. And speaker after speaker highlighted the existing need for more housing in the community.
Because of our inability to keep up and bail out the boat. So we have to change the story.
Yeah, there is certain responsibilities from the provincial and federal government, but also, what's our responsibility as a municipal government? What's our responsibility as a city?
And the need is only expected to get worse, with population growth outpacing new builds. Saskatoon's population is projected to grow by nearly 89,000 people between 2022 and 2036. Existing and planned new builds will have a capacity to serve roughly 61,000 of those residents, leaving an estimated 28,000 without an adequate place to call home.
The housing gap projections are downright scary. Canada is building less affordable housing than it did in the 1970s, and the city has invested less in affordable housing in the last 3 years than it did 20 years ago. It's time we change that.
The Salvation Army also wants the city to not lose sight of shelter spaces to help fill more gaps in housing.
And we need to address that gap. And so that would be, according to the Sask housing contracts, a basic shelter, something that's dreadfully missing in Saskatoon.
Funding options ranging from $2.5 million to $8.6 million will now be sent to the annual budget deliberations in December. Keenan Sorakan, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Talk about the city's affordable housing strategy comes as community leaders in both Saskatoon and Prince Albert recently wrapped up a 36-hour homelessness challenge. As Jasmine Pelche reports, it was Prince Albert's first year joining what participants say was an eye-opening experience.
This year was the first opportunity for community leaders in Prince Albert to participate in the Sanctum Care Group 36 Hours for Homelessness Challenge. Boreal Healthcare Foundation CEO Cody Barnett was one of the 10 who took part in the Prince Albert Challenge. He partnered with another participant and they were instructed to live as an HIV-positive couple for 36 hours on the street.
My partner, who ended up being Brittany Szymanski, one of the maternity unit nurses at the Victoria Hospital, she and I were partners in our profiles. She was 5 months pregnant and we were houseless.
Barnett says he was shocked by how long it takes to access housing support after going through the paperwork himself.
Even if I did everything perfectly, I was looking at 6 to 8 weeks till I had income and housing. So that was pretty eye-opening.
Prince Albert organizer Brittany Acorn says Prince Albert's first challenge required a lot of preparation. She wanted to bring the challenge to Prince Albert after seeing it done previous years in Saskatoon, hoping to highlight how each city has its own challenges.
Understanding the difference between kind of the bigger city living and what resources are readily available versus to maybe our northern location and how that differs. We also really see a transient population here in Prince Albert. And that plays a fact into our resources.
Saskatoon's challenge took place shortly after Prince Albert's, and Mayor Cynthia Block participated. She says it was intense on every level.
We have to reconsider how we are approaching drop-in centers when it comes to the vulnerability of women. That was very palpable in understanding the unique vulnerabilities that happen at night in our city.
Acorn says that Prince Albert will join the challenge again next year, and preparations are already underway. Jasmine Pelche, CTV News, Prince Albert.
Prince Albert police are asking the public for information on a man who has been missing for 11 years. Timothy Charlotte was last seen at dusk on October 8th, 2014 on the train bridge overlooking the North Saskatchewan River. He was 27 years old and about 6'4" and about 190 pounds when he was last seen. Over the years, his family asked for help in solving his disappearance, but he is yet to be found. Anyone with information on what happened to Timothy Charlotte is asked to contact Prince Albert Police. The Saskatchewan Health Authority is providing more detail about a drug alert issued for North Battleford. Yesterday, the Ministry of Health said an incident of lost or stolen vials containing a dangerous mix of drugs was reported and that the vials were discarded as medical waste. Today, the SHA said needles and other drug supplies were found on an abandoned property in North Battleford yesterday. When staff got there, they also found empty vials of controlled medications from a biomedical waste container. The discarded vials would have contained fentanyl, morphine, as well as ketamine, and an anesthetic that would be extremely dangerous if consumed. The SHA says it's taking the incident very seriously as the medications could not be safely used outside a hospital setting. An investigation is underway to determine how the medical waste ended up at that location. A group of faculty members at the First Nations University of Canada says it's lost confidence in the university's leadership and board of directors. Members say there has been a troubling exodus of university staff and an absence of good financial stewardship. Wayne Mantika has more.
A group of faculty at the First Nations University say they are feeling the impact of a deficit that they believe is nearing $2 million.
So what I'm seeing here is our university spinning in a downward spiral in a really bad way. We are financially unstable.
In a written statement, the group of faculty say they have lost confidence in the university's leadership and board of governors. They feel excluded from conversation about university matters.
As someone myself who has stood up and sent letters to the board, I'm marginalized as well now. So I know that it's happening. I've watched it and I've experienced it.
Those behind the statement have not identified themselves for fear of reprisal. It follows leak of a 2023 Deloitte report commissioned by a previous board that found evidence of budget overages and breach of some university policies. Alan Adam is a former board vice chair who says the investigation was prompted by a whistleblower.
Whistleblower laws come into effect that the person who did the whistleblowing had to be protected and that they were not to be fired. And we found out soon after that that person was fired as well too. So
Adams says he subsequently resigned his board position.
Now we just have to live with whatever the outcome is going to be, and hopefully they make good changes so that the university can be on good standing.
The provincial government is following the controversy.
But our Minister of Advanced Education will be certainly keeping abreast of that particular instance. But I think largely you're going to find that their funding arrangement was with the federal government.
The current board chair has been contacted for comment about the faculty concerns, but has yet to respond. However, in a previous statement, the board said it has full confidence in the university's leadership. Wayne Mantika, CTV News, Regina.
Prince Albert National Park is set to start a fall project which aims to fix issues with the Waskesiu River that have been growing for 2 years. As Carla Shinkrick found out, the goal is to get fish back in the area and restore balance to the surrounding ecosystem.
This is the shore of the Waskesiu River in Prince Albert National Park. These rocks should have water flowing over them, but they're dry. That's because this stone weir system called a riffle started failing in 2023.
The riffles were being completely bypassed in 2024, primarily due to severe weather events and high water coming through the area and starting to erode the banks.
It's bypassed here into the forest. The summer of 2025 is now behind them. It was a problematic one due to the early wildfire season and pre-evacuation orders in the park, coupled with a fire entering the park, then one of the worst blue-green algae issues in the lake's history.
Something that we'll continue to be watching, and certainly climate change could be a part of this. As the climate naturally warms, water temperature will naturally warm. People could probably get used to seeing more in the future.
Officials aren't making a direct correlation between the low water levels and algae on the lake and what's happening on the river, though. Now, however, focus is turning to repair this river system to avoid further damage for plants and fish.
It's not working the way it should. That's why we have to restore it, get it back working over the weirs, because then there's no restriction for the fish.
That means reinforcing the river's shoreline, 60 meters of the banks in front and behind the bridge, extending 15 meters past the riffle, aimed at correcting the flow.
September, October, November window is the only time we're allowed to work in the river due to environmental considerations. That limits when we can do the work. We got everything, the design done and everything in place so that we could do the work this fall.
It's hoped visitors make up for any lost time this summer.
There's still time to get out to enjoy. In my personal opinion, as an enjoyer of the park, it's a much better time because all the pretty fall colors are out.
Tourist areas remain open throughout the fall and many even into the winter. Carla Shinkrick, CTV News, Waskesiu.
As artificial intelligence becomes more common, the demand for AI data is on the rise. It's why Saskatoon is being eyed up to be a key player in the technology. Hallie Mandrick has the story.
This former cannabis growery in Saskatoon could potentially become a major hub for artificial intelligence.
I think Saskatchewan has a lot of strengths in terms of becoming a hub for data centers in Canada. Certainly we have, again, the talent, the AI research happening here. Obviously the cold weather helps with keeping these units cold, or can help.
An AI data center holds the computing technology that stores and processes information required for artificial intelligence. A number of organizations, including the Greater Saskatoon Chamber of Commerce and AI Saskatchewan, are advocating for the space to be converted into a large-scale data center. While AI tools may seem quick and simple for users accessing the technology with their smartphones, it actually takes a significant amount of space and energy.
It's probably the most challenging piece of the puzzle as this sector is getting built out. The energy demands in particular with training-based data centers, are significant.
This particular site was built to grow and study cannabis before it was legalized, meaning that the building is incredibly secure. And it has 36 climate-controlled rooms to potentially store the technology, which produces a lot of heat.
8-inch concrete walls throughout, 8-inch concrete ceiling, 16-inch concrete floors so that they wouldn't dig in. That was the big worry. With growing cannabis, it was all grown with halogen lights, which required massive amounts of power and massive amounts of cooling.
While a significant number of Canadian citizens, businesses, and institutions are using AI, Boyle says the majority of already existing data centers are located in the United States.
We need to manage the risk of having all of the data secured in another country. And we need to start thinking about how to onshore that data, and that is sovereign compute. So that if a geopolitical situation were to arise which would threaten our ability to access that data, we can mitigate that risk because it's onshored in our own country.
While this facility has the foundation to become an AI data center, it will remain empty until an investor comes along willing to oversee the retrofit and operation. Hallie Mandrick, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Still to come on CTV News, new developments in the case against a former fashion mogul. Also, a Canadian first, a transplant that's being considered a medical breakthrough. You're watching CTV News Live from downtown Saskatoon. Thanks for staying with us. Now to news late this afternoon on the ongoing efforts to bring peace to the Middle East. The U.S. President Donald Trump says Israel and Hamas have reached an agreement on the first phase of a peace plan. In a post on Truth Social, Trump said it means that all hostages would be released, quote, very soon. He adds that Israel will withdraw its troops to an agreed-upon line. Trump goes on to thank mediators from Qatar, Egypt, and Turkey. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu posting on X shortly after Trump's post saying, with God's help, we will bring them all home. Although the initial agreement was confirmed by Israeli officials and Hamas, as well as a mediator with Qatar, it's not clear whether the parties had made any progress on questions about the future of the conflict, including whether Hamas will demilitarize. CTV News has confirmed the scrapped Keystone XL pipeline came up during yesterday's meeting between Prime Minister Carney and U.S. President Donald Trump. Sources say it was raised in the context of linking energy between the two countries. CTV News also confirmed the conversation was also related to possible relief on steel and aluminum tariffs. In the original proposal for the expansion, the new pipeline would have a section crossing from Alberta through southwestern Saskatchewan into Montana. An existing Keystone pipeline already runs a more direct line through the province before turning south from Manitoba into the Midwestern states. The expansion proposal was halted in 2021 by the Joe Biden administration. Saskatchewan Premier Scott Moe says he's supportive of any efforts to revive the project, especially as Alberta tries to push forward with plans for a separate pipeline to the Canadian West Coast.
That would really provide us with some tremendous opportunities to expand a number of industries, not just the oil and gas industry in Alberta and Saskatchewan, but open up some rail capacity for us in the potash industry, for us in the agricultural industry, as well as shrink the basis on every barrel of oil is there, which essentially is a $10 to $12 price increase for Western Canadian oil.
Mo says he feels Canada is well represented by Mark Carney in international trade relations, including through the Prime Minister's most recent meetings in Washington, saying it seemed to be a positive step forward, going on to say he is optimistic about Canada's economic future. It's being called a Canadian first. A Toronto hospital has performed a transplant using a heart that was revived after the donor died and the heart stopped beating. It's something that could save more lives and certainly gives hope to those on the organ waitlist. CTV's Heather Wright on the breakthrough and who could benefit from this innovation.
Nearly 1 million Canadians are living with heart failure, many waiting for a transplant that may never come.
Many of them never make it to actually get that good news, that phone call that we found a heart for you. So this will provide hope for them that there will be a heart.
That hope is care of a new procedure Dr. Syed Ali Reza Rabi performed in early September at Toronto General Hospital. A heart transplant from a donor whose heart had stopped beating. The first time this cutting-edge procedure has been performed in Canada.
The heart is warm, meaning that it's not cooled to protect it, and it is not getting oxygen or nutrients. So this is a vulnerable time for heart. So we have to take that heart out and through special techniques, preserve it, bring it back, and put it in the person and hope that the heart starts beating.
Typically, heart donations come from people who are brain dead, but oxygen is still circulating in the body and their organs are still functioning. This procedure, first pioneered in Australia a decade ago, will open the pool of possible donors, and early data suggests the outcomes are similar.
And it looks like there is no difference between the outcome of the hearts of people who've received hearts from a traditional brain dead donor versus circulatory dead donor.
Right now, who is eligible for this procedure depends on where they live, as doctors don't want the donated heart to be outside of the body for more than an hour. But there is hope as new technology becomes available. Hearts will be able to travel anywhere in Canada, saving many more lives. Heather Wright, CTV News, Toronto.
Charges against former fashion mogul Peter Nygaard in Winnipeg were stayed today. That means legal proceedings against him have been halted, at least for now. Nygaard's lawyer argued the charges should be stayed because reports drawn up after 2 police interviews with his accuser were later destroyed. Nygaard was charged with sexual assault and unlawful confinement 2 years ago. Police say a woman alleged she was assaulted at a warehouse in 1993. Nygaard still faces a trial on sex charges in Quebec and extradition to the U.S. on sex trafficking and racketeering charges. He was sentenced last year to 11 years for sex offenses in Toronto. The union representing striking Canada Post employees says it will meet with the federal minister in charge of the Crown Corporation tonight. Postal workers walked off the job nearly 2 weeks ago in the wake of Ottawa announcing sweeping changes to services, including the end of door-to-door delivery. Canada Post tabled a new proposal last week which introduced provisions related to expected job cuts. The union has been taking aim at Purolator, which is 91% owned by Canada Post, picketing outside Purolator locations to draw attention to the issue.
Hi, I'm Andy Prokopchik, and I'm with the Outlook Stock Car Association. We're gearing up for the 2025 Butch Harrison Memorial Fall Classic, coming up October 11th and 12th at the Outlook Stock Car Track, just outside beautiful Outlook, Saskatchewan. Spectator gates open at 10, driver introductions start at 11, and the green flag drops at noon. It's a family-friendly weekend with a full concession, beer gardens, and over 50 cars hitting the track. For full details, check out Outlook Stock Car Association's Facebook page. So, Jeff, the only question is, what's the weather going to be like?
Well, you give it with one hand, you take it with the other. Let's concentrate on Saturday. That is the first day of the big start of the Fall Classic there in Outlook. And as we take a look at the situation for Outlook, the outlook is good. Look at this. Saturday at 10 a.m. is when things get underway. As you said, the gates open and they have the driver's introductions at 11. But 21 degrees for a daytime high, sunny skies. Once again, go to the Outlook Stock Car Association Facebook page for more information. Sunday, you might need a slicker. Well, talk about that later on. Let's take a look at our numbers right now. We've got ourselves 17 degrees in Saskatoon and in Prince Albert. In the Battlefords, it is 16 degrees, 13 in terms of wind speed in Saskatoon, 11 in Prince Albert, and 20 in the Battlefords. So, yeah, a bit breezy in some respect. Saskatoon's daytime high, 21 degrees, 7 degrees above seasonal, but not breaking the record. That was set back in 1984. Ooh, double plus good. 28 degrees for a daytime high, minus 10 degrees in 1959 for the cold temperature record. And yes, indeed, that's cold. The sun came up at 7:19. It's going to go down in, about 50 seconds.
Coming up, going back to the future, how one Canadian man is recreating movie magic.
The countdown to kickoff is on. Thursday on Your Morning, how the Saskatchewan Roughriders are preparing for their lights-out game against those dastardly Toronto Argonauts.
All right, here we go. Still a pretty nice sky out there. Some lovely slashes of color along the horizon. A relatively blue sky, but technically speaking, the sun has gone down. We still have plenty of ambient light, at least for now. Let's take a look at our satellite and radar shot here, and we can show you that, yes, indeed, I've talked about this already. High pressure area, a lot of the ridge that's in place, so a lot of the active weather, of which there isn't much, is going to sort of arch over top of our province as it makes its way through Alberta and into Manitoba. But we've got a little bit more in the way of precipitation out in BC, but all in all, it's a pretty quiet situation across the prairie provinces, and warm temperatures are going to be in place for a little bit longer. So 17 degrees in Saskatoon, Prince Albert, and the Battlefords. Let's make our way to our hot spot. That's Moose Jaw, 25. Mankota at -1 is the provincial cold spot today. Right now, it is 12 degrees in Lloydminster, 16 in Swift Current, 19 in Moose Jaw and Yorkton, 20 in Regina, and 18 in Estevan in central parts of the province. Temperatures ranging from 13 degrees in Meadow Lake up to 19 in Hudson Bay. A lot of places sort of clumped around that 16 or 17 degree mark. Making our way up north, 9 degrees in Stony Rapids and Collins Bay, but it does warm up to 13 in La Ronge and South End. And look at that, Sandy Bay Island Falls, 16 degrees right now. It's also 16 in a few locations in southern Saskatchewan. And as we make our way towards the central part of the province, that's where it seems to be warmest in south central Saskatchewan, 20 degrees in Assiniboia and Coronach, but a bunch of other places are around 18 or 19 degrees, so it's still fairly warm in the Southland as well. Our computer modeling indicating not much in the way of active weather. If there's any rain, it'll be spotty in nature, and that will be up north. And as you can take a look at the pressure lines, they're not particularly close together, so we're not anticipating a windy Thursday. Around the province we go, so 9 degrees for Stony Rapids tomorrow, and the same for Key Lake, 13 for Buffalo Narrows, 10 in La Ronge. Into the west central Saskatchewan, temperatures kind of hanging around that 15 or 16 degree mark for most locations under sunny skies. A little bit warmer, but just barely in, or at least consistently warmer in the southwest with temperatures of 16 or 17 degrees. And a similar pattern for the southeast, although it does get up to 19 in Estevan, 14 in Melfort and Hudson Bay, 16 in Watrous, 15 in Humboldt, and that's sunny in east central Saskatchewan as well. So clear and cold conditions tonight in the Battlefords, dropping down to 0 degrees. Tomorrow's high, 15 under sunny skies with winds out of the northwest at 20. Friday still looking good. Saturday still looking good, 21 degrees for both those days. And then Sunday, the temperatures drop right off. 60% chance of showers or flurries or a combination thereof, and getting even colder on Monday. Tuesday, 4 degrees, 7 on Wednesday. So yes, way below seasonal numbers there. Clear and cold conditions for Prince Albert tonight, dropping down to 1 degree, 14 tomorrow. So a seasonal temperature thereabouts, 19 on Friday under sunny skies, warming up to 21 on Saturday with a bit more in the way of cloud cover. Sunday, it looks like a rainy day, and 4 degrees, 2 degrees on Monday with a chance of some flurries. And Saskatoon, no clouds overnight tonight, so clear skies. Fog patches showing up, though the wind's backing off. 2 degrees the overnight temperature. 16 tomorrow for a daytime high, so a couple of points above seasonal. Winds out of the northwest at 20, but it warms up on Friday. Check this out. 21 degrees on Friday, Saturday 22, and then the big drop-off. 70% chance of showers on Sunday with a high of 4. 2 on holiday Monday, 30% chance of flurries, 4 on Tuesday, and Wednesday, 6 degrees.
All that time, I'm on my toe, you were just honing your pose. Now I can see
Taylor Swift says she's taking mixed reviews of her new album in stride. The superstar billionaire singer-songwriter told Apple Music's Zane Lowe she isn't the art police and that everyone is allowed to feel exactly how they want about her work. There might be more people who approve of the star's 12th album. The Life of a Showgirl has smashed a number of streaming records, and its cinematic release party was #1 at the weekend box office. Dolly Parton's sister's clarifying comments she made asking people to pray for the music superstar. Frida Parton posted on Facebook earlier this week her sister Dolly was dealing with some health issues and she was praying for her. The 79-year-old singer recently canceled some Las Vegas concerts citing health challenges, but her sister's post raised further concern among fans. But yesterday, Frida posted she wanted to clear things up and Dolly is under the weather, but she didn't mean to make the situation sound more serious than it was. Parton has been suffering from kidney stones. Casting is now open for Season 12 of The Amazing Race Canada. Candidates need to find a partner who could be a friend, relative, spouse, or just someone they're close to, and then send in an application. The show is looking for people who are adventurous, problem solvers, and strong communicators. You can head to ctv.ca/The Amazing Race Canada for all the information on how to apply.
All right, Jeff, we've got a mixture for pick of the day today.
We sure do. We're going to stick on the people side of things, but we're going to start off with this picture. We have a shot here of some of the athletes, local athletes who won a championship down at the 2025 North American Super Series in Minnesota. This was in broomball. So I think what we have there is we have Dillian Jewell, Matthew Solar, Tori White in the middle, and Cody Teal there on the end there. And I think these are all local athletes. They might all be from Bruno. I don't know, but I know in Bruno they take their broomball very seriously indeed. So congratulations on the big win south of the border. Next one comes to us from Hannah Sullivan. She says, I want to wish my dad Curtis a happy 63rd birthday. Have a great day. Love, Hannah, Sam, and Kim. And we send along our best wishes for Curtis as well. And finally from Pam Hansen, I would appreciate if you could use this photo for pick of the day on Wednesday, October 8th. My parents were adamant that there wasn't to be a party. So now I'm getting creative to get the word out to friends, family, and now Saskatchewan viewers that Lois and Henry Hansen of Christopher Lake are celebrating their 65th wedding anniversary. They were high school sweethearts and dated for 5 years before getting married. Mom was far more patient than I would have been. All right. Well, Pam, thanks for sending that photo, and congratulations to this wonderful couple. And yes, we add our best wishes as well. And if you'd like to send us an image, you can do so by sending it to cfqcnews@ctv.ca. Please put pick of the day in the subject line.
Still to come on CTV News, recreating a film classic, the car creation that is turning Canadian heads.
Your morning just got a little brighter. Start your day with CTV Your Morning, and you could win $20,000. For your chance to win, watch CTV Your Morning Saskatchewan, weekday mornings 6 to 9.
This next story will have us going back to the future as CTV's Ryan McDonald shows us a Cape Breton man has turned an old car into his own rendition of the movie's famous DeLorean.
It's a vehicle that doesn't just make you feel nostalgic, it almost seems like it could quite literally take you back in time.
My little fellas and I just one day said, let's do something fun for Halloween.
The plan was to do the best they could to recreate the time-traveling DeLorean from the Back to the Future movies. A few years ago, John Nolan of Catalone, Nova Scotia, purchased this old Pontiac Fiero.
Like the DeLorean, it's kind of got the same shape, same appeal. It's a two-seater, rear-mounted engine.
Then he and his young sons got to work, giving it a new aluminum paint job and decorating it with whatever they could find in thrift stores and at the curbs during the annual heavy garbage pickup.
And just made a little collection, put it all together, put it out by the road, and it was a big hit. Lots of people stopped, a lot of smiles. You know, it looked really cool at night when we lit it up.
Not only does it look ready for liftoff after dark, but it has all the bells and whistles that any time traveler might need.
we had to make that because no time machine is complete without its hoverboard. And we just used an old snowboard. My little fella's painted that.
Now, here's a fun fact. While the original Back to the Future movie came out in 1985 and the controls inside the DeLorean were set for that same year, I asked how old this old Pontiac Fiero happens to be. Turns out, it's a 1984. Only recently, the creator of this makeshift DeLorean decided to sell it to another fan of all things retro who lives here in Membertou.
The sales pitch was I told the fellow that it was only used from time to time, so I don't think that I was stretching the truth too much with it.
In the end, it's a nice homage to a classic movie.
I remember going to the theater with my father, and I just didn't think I'd be building one and put it in my front yard years later.
From 1985 to 2025, it's a journey that took this man back to the future and beyond. Ryan McDonald, CTV News on the Membertou First Nation.
When we come back, I'll look at what the Riders are up against and later providing the true spirit of Thanksgiving.
All right, welcome back, and we'll take a look at our numbers tomorrow. Not as warm as they were today, but they will be bouncing back as we head into Friday. But Thursday's still looking pretty good. Temperatures, generally speaking, around about 15 degrees for many locations. Lots of sunshine out there. So, yeah, pretty nice, quite frankly. And as we take a look at Hudson Bay, 14 degrees, as the same for Melfort and Wynyard. Those are seasonal numbers. And then we make our way into southern Saskatchewan. And as you can see, the temperatures don't jump up a whole lot, but basically around 17 degrees, widespread sunshine. So all in all, not a bad Thursday shaping up, and Friday's looking even warmer. Just keep that in mind. You can make it through Thursday. Sunny skies for southeast, 17 degrees. And as you can see, the winds out of the northwest, 20, gusting to 40, so a little bit on the breezy side. And Southie is one of the places where internet plans of up to 1 gig are available from SaskTel.
And welcome to another edition of X's and O's with Wes Cates. The Saskatchewan Roughriders can clinch first in the West and get that bye to host a Western final with a victory this week over Toronto, or if Calgary loses in Hamilton, chances there. They've got a record right now of 11-4, Wes, and yet all I can think about and all I'm hearing is a lot of concerns with this team despite their 11-4 record. And you do have some concerns, whether it's the kicking game or even just an offense that just doesn't seem to put teams away.
Yeah, I mean, Lee, really, Calgary, and obviously the Riders and Calgary are struggling right now. I mean, two teams that look like they were running away with it, and now they can barely get wins. I mean, obviously, the Riders went and got a good away win, albeit against the worst team in the league in Ottawa. But you look at what's going on with Calgary, I'm sure they're going to lose one. So you can say we're going to lock up first place. But at the end of the day, we went into Ottawa and you barely squeaked out of there with a 7-point win. You won the turnover battle. Got a couple of short opportunities to score, didn't really capitalize on them. And then it took some big plays from guys like Dante Myers to actually get those points that you needed to have the victory. And then a big play from AJ to keep Ottawa from scoring on the defensive score. So you take those things into consideration. You look at some of the numbers. You know, Trevor Harris still had a big game throwing the ball, 350-plus yards, I think, or 340, something like that. And you're not too worried, but if you look at all the things, if you put the whole game together, it just wasn't a clean game, and it just wasn't a convincing win for a team with a record like this. So I think they really have to continue to look in the mirror and continue to find ways to get better, because this isn't good enough. And then I didn't even talk about the kicking game. Lowther gets sit down. Campbell Fair, 2 missed extra points. I mean, so basically we have no kicking game, no short kicking game right now anyway.
Yeah, the American, we'll see what he can do. Michael Hughes, if they play him, they could go to the Canadians, but man, it is messy. And we've seen teams that go to the playoffs and lose on kicks. So that's something that the Riders got to figure out quickly. You did mention the play by AJ Ouellette. Let's touch a little bit on that, because the effort was amazing to catch up and stop that touchdown. Do you have any instances where you saw that?
Yeah,
did that?
You know what's funny is I did, and for me it was kind of, I feel like AJ has already proven himself to his teammates and is a leader. But when I was in my first year with the Riders in 07, we were in BC. BC. Obviously, BC was kind of the top of the league at the time. And we went into BC and got a big win, but they had a punt returner. I can't think of his name. But anyway, he was returning a punt up the opposite sideline, and because I was new with the team, I was still playing some special teams from my special teams time as a rookie in Calgary, and I actually ran him down from the backside, got a tackle around the 15, 20-yard line. Defense held him out, and we managed to go on and win that game. And I felt like that play solidified me with my teammates, my new teammates, as a guy who meant business and was really ready to put the work in for a championship. And it kind of was the catalyst to us having that confidence to go on and win in 07. And I feel like these are like moments, these are plays. That play by AJ was the type of play that really might show some of the younger guys, or maybe the guys that haven't been given their all. Well, if he's going to go out there and put a play like that on film and go make sure that Ottawa didn't score so that we can have a better chance to win, then maybe I need to step my game up. So kudos to AJ for making that type of play. I know he was just doing what came to him to do, but those are the type of plays that really catapult a team into everybody on the squad putting those effort plays on film every chance they get.
So they're going to play Toronto at home, obviously, in a lights-out game. Won't be Nick Arbuckle, won't be Chad Kelly. It's going to be Jared Dagey. Doesn't have a lot of experience. Had a bit of a rough ride against Hamilton when he filled in for Arbuckle. So all the cards are in line for the Riders to win this game. But will they play down to the opponent? We'll have to wait and see and take a look at that on another edition of X's and O's.
Canada's food manufacturing sector saw slight growth in the first half of 2025, but Regina-based Farm Credit Canada is projecting a small decline in the back half of the year. The FCC's Food and Beverage Report mid-year update shows the sector is starting to feel the pinch of trade disruptions and economic conditions. While most food products are unaffected by U.S. tariffs, Canadian exporters have to demonstrate compliance with the Canada-U.S.-Mexico agreement, resulting in lower food exports to the U.S. Grain and oilseed milling continues to face challenges due to tariffs and biofuel policy uncertainty. Coming up, providing Saskatoon youth with an abundance of joy this Thanksgiving. Then taking a swing on the greens for the last time this season.
Select Hair Services brought to you by Sage, the beauty bar.
Stay with us for another great night of television starting tonight at 7 with Shifting Gears. Well, more than 600 Saskatoon public school students will be going home with an assortment of goodies ahead of the Thanksgiving break. Volunteers from the Saskatoon Public Schools Foundation and 38 Combat Engineer Regiment came together at the Hugh Cairns Armory in Saskatoon to pack cheer crates with nutritious food, games, books, and fun activities for the family. Staff with the Saskatoon Public Schools identify families that would benefit from the support.
The need has gone up. We've started doing a few hundred each time, and now we're well over 600 cheer crates every time we do it each year.
Campotex helps deliver potash all around the world, and feeding families starts right here at home, not just around the world. So it's important for us to give back in the communities that we work in.
The foundation says more than 10,000 cheer crates have been given out since the program began in 2020. Well, Saskatoon golfers should prepare to wind up their games for the season. The city of Saskatoon says its 3 golf courses will see a staggered closing over the next few weeks. Holiday Park's Executive 9 will close October 13th. 9 holes of the championship course will close October 19th, with the remaining 9 holes and the driving range closing October 26th. The back 9 at Silverwood will close October 13th, with the front 9 closing October 19th and the driving range October 26th. And the back 9 at Wildwood winds up October 19th, with the front 9 closing October 26th. And Jeff, that's all weather dependent, so you better make
boy, oh boy. Well, I tell you, the golfers should get in as many rounds as they can before Sunday. That's all I'm saying. There you go.
But after that, right? No?
What do you mean after that? It's after
Sunday, Monday.
Sunday, Monday, and then it's going to go up to single digits, staying at single digits. So right now we're in for a cold stretch. So it could rebound.
And some other stuff, some sprinkling of stuff.
Sprinkling indeed. Let's take a quick look at our numbers for tomorrow. 6 degrees on at 9 a.m. a.m. By noon, 11 degrees, and then 15 in the mid-afternoon, and 14 tomorrow around 5 o'clock. And it's going to be sunny, so that's the good thing. It's going to be sunny and basically seasonal. Yeah, not too bad.
All right. Well, that is our show. Thanks for watching. Have a great evening, and we'll come back at 11:30.
That's what I hear.